Welcome to the Phantom Radar Battalion, locking on to today's key events of August 19th, 2024. Let's dive into the critical global developments shaping our world today. Iran remains a central player in the ongoing Middle East crisis, navigating a complex web of diplomacy and military strategy. The Iranian Foreign Ministry has made it clear that Gaza's ceasefire and Iran's potential retaliation against Israel are separate issues. Despite expressing support for efforts to ceasefire in Gaza, Iran remains skeptical of the United States' role as a mediator, openly stating that it does not consider the U.S. an honest mediator in the negotiations. Meanwhile, tensions continue to rise in Syria. Pro-Assad forces have bombarded a village in the countryside of northwestern Syria with heavy artillery, while the Turkish military conducted a drone strike on a vehicle near a hospital in the northeastern part of the country. The situation in Syria remains volatile, with various actors vying for control and influence in the region. In Palestine, the conflict continues to take a heavy toll on civilians. The Israel Air Force has been active in Gaza, with reports of airstrikes targeting homes in the northern part of the city. Another strike hit a home in central refugee camp, resulting in casualties. Meanwhile, artillery shellings target areas in the southern part of Gaza, further escalating the situation. Diplomatically, Israel, Egypt, and the United States met in Cairo to discuss the future of a key border area between Gaza and Egypt. However, the talks were described as futile, with no agreement reached. This deadlock reflects the broader challenges facing efforts to stabilize the region. Iran, meanwhile, hosted a significant meeting with its regional allies, including groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. The meeting in Tehran focused on responding to the assassination of a senior Palestinian leader, underscoring the deep ties between Iran and these groups as they coordinate their strategies. Syria continues to be a battleground for various military forces. Pro-Assad forces have targeted areas in the countryside of western Syria with artillery, adding to the ongoing violence in the region. In a separate incident, the Turkish military struck a vehicle in the northeastern part of Syria with a drone, raising tensions between Turkey and Kurdish forces. The Pentagon has stated that it reserves the right to respond to any attacks targeting U.S. forces in Syria and Iraq, signaling the situation remains precautious with the potential for further escalation. In Ukraine, the conflict with Russia shows no sign of slowing down. Multiple drones were reported flying over several regions, including areas around Kyiv and other central parts of the country. Explosions were heard in several regions, likely to air defense operations and continued fighting in the south. On the ground, Ukrainian forces continue their offensive, with reports of small arms skirmishes in villages in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian airstrikes also targeted a bridge in a Russian-controlled area, disrupting supply lines and demonstrating the ongoing intensity of the conflict. In the United Kingdom, violence continues to plague the cities across the country. Over the weekend, multiple stabbings were reported, including a fatal attack in a northern city that left one woman dead and two others critically injured. In the south, a particularly gruesome crime saw a woman fatally stabbed, with a suspect facing additional charges for other serious crimes. Another stabbing was reported in a park in the western part of the country. UK authorities are also grappling with an increasing number of speech-related arrests. Over 1,100 people have been detained for alleged speech crimes, leading the British Ministry of Justice to activate a plan that allows for the temporary detaining of individuals in makeshift cells and the early release of prisoners to make space for those convicted of speech crimes. On the home front, in Texas, security concerns have been raised following two small arms attacks at a military base in San Antonio. The first incident occurred pre-dawn, with a drive-by shooting targeting the entry gate at a training annex. A few hours later, a second vehicle approached the same gate and engaged security personnel in a brief firefight before escaping. No casualties were reported, but the incident has raised alarms about potential terror activities or local crime. The security posture at the base was heightened following the first attack, but the second assault indicates a level of determination that has prompted further investigation. Or maybe they were dumb. The proximity of the attacks to an elementary school has added to the concerns, as authorities work to determine whether this was a targeted terror attack or a case of a gang-related violence. That's all for today's briefing. From escalating conflicts in the Middle East to ongoing violence in Ukraine and unrest in Western Europe, the world is facing a complex and dangerous landscape. Stay tuned, stay informed, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.